Hey, loves. Hey, welcome on this lovely Sunday where it is all about you. Not me, but it's all about you and trusting and believing in yourself. So, hey, Adam, I see you this early 8 a.m. jumping in here. So, great to have you here. How y'all doing today on this lovely Sunday? And if you don't know me, my name is Queen A. I am a clarity coach. I am an author, and I am the CEO of S&B Cinch, which is my family's business that I started with me and my youth. So I hope y'all enjoying yourself. How y'all doing today? Hope y'all just smiling, trusting that that you made it here, trusting that whatever happens today is to be. And that's what it's all about today, is learning exactly how we go about doing that. And once again, like I said, if you don't know, I am Queen A, and I am a clarity coach. I help young to middle age adults, aspiring entrepreneurs. I help them overcome the feeling of self worth, overcome the feeling of being fearful, overcome that feeling of feeling like a failure, which you all know if you've been listening to me. I teach failures is just life lessons. And I just help them build their confidence and take it to the next level with clarity. And that's just what this is all about today. And in order to do that, the first thing we have to do is learn how to trust ourselves. Great AM, Miss Teresa. I see you in here bright and early this AM. Glad to have you here as well, love. How y'all doing today? I hope y'all feeling good. And I don't know where y'all are watching from, but I am from Cincinnati, Ohio. So if I have any Cincinnatians in the house, I want to say great AM to you all. And to my New Yorkers, I know I have in the house because I know it's a house full of East Siders in here. So I want to tell y'all great
New
AM.
York in the house. Hallelujah.
There you go. Look, that's just like a look at them. See what I'm saying? So now just
That's right. That's what we do. You're right.
hey,
Thank
I
you,
love
Queen,
it.
for being here and love y'all, family, nation. So glad to be here this morning.
Well, thank you for trusting yourself to be here. So I appreciate you. I really do. And I had to say this just like a New Yorker. New York in the house, that's how they be, ain't it? Say nah. But no, I love y'all. I love my East Siders. And to anybody else, I don't know where you are watching from. So if you ain't from the East Side, West Side, maybe from the North Side or the South Side, guess what? I welcome you all with open arms as well. So I hope you're having a blessed Lundy. What is today? Today is what, Wednesday? Oh my gosh, this
You
week
be
is
saying
flying.
Sunday.
What about that? That's
Sunday.
why I say Sunday. That's why I said what's today. So I apologize, y'all, on this lovely Wednesday because I'm not used to facilitating on a 30-minute session. So that's why it kind of threw me off. I'm like, hold up, today is not Sunday. But thank you all for trusting me to get it correct.
Shay.
I appreciate it. So hope y'all are enjoying this day.
Hey, Shawnee Boo, miss you. Glad to see you this morning.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
love it.
Let's rock, y'all.
Yeah.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing.
Continue
We're
to welcome folks and let them know what they
teaching, we're
need.
moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together.
Unmute yourself, Queen.
Yes, I think it automatically mutes me every time. I apologize, Gabe. Hey, loves, how y'all doing? Welcome to Wednesdays with Queen A. No, I'm just kidding. No. But today is all about Do You Trust You Part 2. So last time we was here, we actually went over exactly what trust is. And for those of you all that maybe wasn't here last time, I'm just going to kind of go over the definition because I really want you to understand what trust is before, because we only have 30 minutes. So I'm just going to jump into that real fast. So just for those who wasn't here last time, go check out the video on the Woo platform, okay? I did that was Monday. Go check out that video, awesome video. So trust is a firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. Okay? So I'll read that again. A firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. And last time we talked about how we do that with just simple light switches. When we turn on a light switch, right, without no hesitation, without thinking about it, that's relying on that electricity. When you're jumping on Rue in the AM, that's relying on the internet, right? Having a firm belief in that. So now today we're going to actually jump in and talk about why most people don't trust themselves, right? So for me, a lot of people say when one door closed, another one open. I like to teach that a lot of people can't trust themselves because they have too many doors open, right? And that's what, they say a lot of fog in your head. So sometimes we have too many doors open in our head. And I like to say, instead of closing one door, sometimes we have to close multiple, at one time. So sometimes we have to close 10 doors. And one of the main things, how I did that, and I learned to do that, was through journaling. So journaling, what has become like the basis, the foundation of me building my trust and allowing me to close these open doors that I have in my head. And let me explain to you what I mean about that. So, especially if you're a young aspiring entrepreneur, you think about, man, you have so many things. I want to, I got to get the LLC. I got to get the EIN. In 5 years, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be the best. Like, I don't want to fail. But these are all different. These are doors that are open in your head. And so, what I like to think about is for us to start trusting ourselves, right? And have a firm belief in ourselves, we can't see anything in our head. And so, one of the things that I don't know if you know, but the more senses you use, the more your mind picks up on it. So we have to get all these open doors in our mind that's open and get them out and on paper so we can start shutting some of them doors so we can allow maybe a door that is open for you to remain open and you to focus on that one door and trust yourself to do that, right? So before we get into that, I want to challenge you all to just think about closing your eyes real quick, right? Just close your eyes for just a hot second. Just follow me for a second. And I want you to think about a time when you felt the most confident in yourself, when you trusted yourself. So, and I want you to get into that moment of what it felt like, right? What it smelled like, everything about it. And now I want to ask somebody to, if they feel like coming off mute, what did it feel like when you trusted yourself fully? So I just want to know, what did the feeling feel like when it was a time where you just like trusted yourself or when you believed in yourself? What did that feel like for you?
I'll start us off. Good morning, everyone. So I've had multiple moments in my lifetime like this. What I will say is grounded, like feet flat on the floor, standing powerfully in my stance and in my belief of self and confidence in self and the thing that I was doing. Powerful, fully present, because when I don't feel confident, I feel sometimes like I'm floating out somewhere, like I'm not fully present in the moment in my head or trying to be somewhere else, and aligned with my purpose, and I'm complete.
That's a good one. Thank you, Queen, for that. I like how you were saying aligned, and because that's a real key one right there, aligned. I love that. Thank you for using that word. Miss Queen Teresa, I see you with your hand up.
Yes, peace and blessing. I remember I haven't thought about this in years, but I had we was advocating in the Capitol, and we had the I had my wheelchair, and we had to walk up this long, long hill. And when I was walking, at first I was getting a little tired, and they were like, "Teresa, you could do it." And so I was like the last one, you know, because we was doing a rally. I was like the last one, and when I got up to the hill, they had like a big audience waiting for me, and it was like, but because I pushed up because it's like I couldn't sit in the wheelchair, so I had to push the wheelchair up the hill, and that was a very powerful moment because that hill was long. That was the longest hill I ever walked up, and I, you know, having a wheelchair, you know, having a disability and all that, but I walked up that hill, and that was just a powerful experience. And so, especially when I was an advocate, it was like I was just going places, and it was like I just knew, you know, that it was God speaking to me to advocate for people, and I just knew it. It was like, and that I'm glad you said this so I could get back to that place in my mind, you know, to know that I could do anything because I've done some magnificent things with this body in limited situations, but still that did not stop me. Thank you, sis.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for that share. I appreciate that. But one of the main things I want us to focus on was that it was because they knew and they understood what was going to happen in them situations, right? Like, Queen Shani, and Queen Teresa. So it was like it made them feel aligned. Like even Miss Teresa said she didn't feel like going on, but just everybody else, kind of cheering her on, and then but her just making it, but she knew she can do it just by looking at other people or whatever the case may be, right? So one of the things that goes back to trust and us having these mental doors open in our head. One of the reasons why I challenge you to journal is because the main reason why a lot of us don't trust ourselves is because we have too much fog in our head. So you're going to take a piece of paper out, right? Now, this is something that I'm challenging you to do. If you're in a space where you're like, I haven't been trusting myself enough to, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's to wake up early enough. I haven't been trusting myself to fill out that new application that I know I need to fill out, right? I haven't trusted myself to have this conversation with maybe my partner that I know I need to have. Okay. Now, if you are in a space of, where you're not trusting yourself in any area of your life, this exercise that I'm going to share with you, I would challenge you to truly take this serious because you're not here, right, to just listen. You're here to be an active listener. It's a difference. Okay. Active listeners, they take action, right? And that's what we're going to be about. So you're going to take a piece of paper. And when I say journaling, so if you don't have a journal, there's no excuses. I tell people grab a cardboard box, I don't care, and write on the back of it. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to think about everything in your head that's keeping you from trusting yourself. And I want you to write out everything that comes. Because, see, what we tend to do is we won't trust ourselves to write down every single thought in our head. See, what we'll do is we'll start ringing out the thoughts ourselves. So every thought counts. I want you to write out all the thoughts that come to your head. Okay? No thought is too small. It's there for a reason. And once you write them all down, now what you're going to do is you're going to go through them all and you're going to say them out loud. Maybe, I don't trust myself because I don't have this degree, or I don't trust myself because, I haven't ever seen a woman succeed in my field, or I don't trust myself because I don't know, I don't care what the case is, but you're going to say them out loud. Why did I say that? Because see, when it's in your head, you're just thinking about it. But now you have them on paper. So you're using your vision, you're saying it out loud, and guess what? You're also speaking. Okay. So I want you, that's why I said when you use more senses, your brains pick up on it more. So now you had it in your mind, you brought it on paper, you're visually seeing it, and now you're reading it. And what's going to happen is a lot of things you're going to read out loud about why you don't trust yourself, you're going to dismiss. Oh, I don't trust myself because I don't have that degree yet. Well, how can you not trust yourself for not having that degree yet when you haven't even applied to get the degree? or you haven't even been consistent enough to get the degree, right? So you got to X that off, sis. You ain't been consistent enough. That's why you don't trust yourself. It's silly to have that fog in your head, right? And you're going to lean into things that maybe matter the most, right? Well, maybe I don't trust myself. Let's go like Queen A. When I wasn't trusting myself. Well, I don't trust myself because I've never seen the women that I've been around too successful. So it caused me not to trust myself. Do I deserve to be successful? And that was one of the things that I wrote out. And then once I did, I digested it. And I had to ask myself, was it true? So sometimes we have to talk to ourselves, write these things out, and X out the things that sound silly and lean on to the things that, that you really need to focus on. Okay, well, if I feel like the women in my family wasn't there, well, let me start digesting of why they didn't get to make it there. Okay, well, they never pursued, they never tried. They always stayed, where it was comfortable for them at. They never branched out or tried to overcome their fears. So once I started doing that, it was able for me to say, oh, okay, well, that's why I feel like that. But now when you have it in front of you, you can start dissecting it. And that's why I really want to make sure that we are challenge ourselves, especially when it comes to that area right there. Get it out your mind. That's the first thing. Okay? And before we go on to the next step, I want to ask anybody. I
Uh,
want y'all to go ahead. I
Yeah, I
apologize.
was just going to slow you down a little bit because I feel your excitement. Just want to give the community an opportunity to do the first step because you asked us to write out the pieces and then you were also providing guidance and support with seeing why. So can we take just a minute so that folks can write down and just repeat the instruction that you gave, like so that we can write out what it is that you instructed us to write out?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that because I'm not used to presenting 30 minutes, so I was trying to go too fast. I thank you for slowing me down.
Yeah, our platform, we run it. And I see where Coach Cheryl put the question in. So think of a time, oh, this is when you knew you were trusting yourself, and then write down everything that stops you from trusting yourself. So can we take 60 seconds to do that? Write down everything that stops you from trusting yourself. And y'all can also drop some of this stuff in the chat, family. Coach Cheryl, I don't want to put you on the spot, but can you give a couple of examples from your own life so people can have some context? You can hear me?
Well, the first I would say was when I trusted myself. The first thing that came to my mind when you said that was that um, when I chose to say yes to my husband, and he had asked me to marry him out of the blue sky. We weren't dating or anything like that. And we've been married 35 years now. So I felt very empowered by saying yes because I had already been told by spirit for 2 years that this person was going to be my husband. So I felt like I heard what I was supposed to hear and I listened from spirit. So that's how I felt. And what do I feel? What are the things that I feel like stops me from trusting myself? I'm actually a person who trusts myself pretty darn good, but I guess I would say the one thing that stands out is fear of making things worse in terms of with my mobility and not like stretching all the way as far as my mind will let me stretch um, to do things that seem impossible in my mind. Fear of making it worse, fear of hurting myself to the point where I actually have less mobility instead of more. So that probably would be the first thing those are two things that come to the top of my mind.
Thank you, Queen, for sharing. That's a powerful share. I appreciate your share. And I just want to say I commend you on, everything that you went through in your, like you was talking about your relationship and especially for trusting yourself. Because you was talking about how, you trust yourself, and you've been learning to do that. So I appreciate that.
All right.
Anybody else like to share?
Yes, yeah, let's share these lists. Anyone else in the space able to share like what their list of things are that stop you from trusting yourselves? Raise your digital hand or you can come off mute. Cynthia and Chrissy and Athenia, Gina. Some of you just landed. Teresa, Trinice. I pray I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Go ahead, Mama Mo.
Good morning, y'all. Be a great topic. I just popped in. The list of things that stop me from trusting myself, that's the question.
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, the only thing that comes up for me is the list of things is me, me, me. I have to constantly be conscious of getting out of my way. Getting out of my way, my thoughts, my words, and my actions. And it's a constant. It's a constant. Just move on out the way. Shut up, Geraldine. Let spirit take over. So when I let spirit take over, anything is possible.
Mm.
And that's what I'll put into the space. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for that powerful share. Because, like you said, whatever you put out there, that is what the universe is going to bring back. Because that's all you're telling yourself that you trust to come back. So appreciate that share, Queen. Thank you for that. And thank you for that, Miss Shani, because I was like, oh, trying to keep up with the time. So I know it is 7:21. So I know we don't have too much time. But I do want to go over and thank you all for your powerful shares because that is what I'm getting to. That's what it's all about is it's you, right? Only you is only you are stopping you because you are allowing too many doors to stay open in your head that you need to get out, you need to see on paper, you need to digest them, go through them, dissect them, go through each one. I don't care how silly it sounds. I don't trust myself because I feel like a clown or I think I look like a clown. I don't care. Write it out and dissect it and say it out loud so you can see how silly it sounds and you can scratch it off. Because it's amazing when you scratch off things on paper, you really are scratching them out of your mind. You are really shutting that door. And what happening is now you are giving yourself more focus. You're narrowing yourself. It's like if I wanted to travel from Cincinnati to New York, right? Prime example. Well, and once I'm traveling, north 75, guess what? A lot of expressways start opening. There's, like I can go to the left, I can get off over here, I can go to the right. But now, guess what? I have to dissect each expressway. And I have to say, okay, well, will this take me over there? If I go south, will that take me to, New York? Okay, no, that won't take me to New York. If I go west, will that take, okay, no, that won't take me. I have to make sure that I'm continuing east and not just east, right? I have to make sure that I know exactly where I'm going because we know you can take one wrong turn, even going east, and I can end up away from my destination. So you have too many doors open. And it's the same way in your mind. Our mind it's like an expressway we're driving down. And you can take any path, but you got to choose the path. And the way to do that is by starting to journal. So that's one of the things I want to tell you that was near and dear to my heart is how I got over. And also you have to get over the fear of why main people don't trust themselves is because they fear of what family and friends think. How many of y'all had that feeling? And that's why you don't trust yourself. I know I had. How many of y'all then told y'all family or friend a dream and you had your trust and excitement level was so high. And then once they said something to you, or maybe they just gave you a look, or maybe they didn't say anything. They didn't respond. They switched the subject. What happens? What happens? Right? That trust level, it diminishes. So we have to understand we worried about our family and friends. We're worried about what online is going to think of us, right? A lot of times we don't trust ourselves to build that business because, man, they're going to think I'm a clown online. Everybody they're going to think I'm a follower or a man or, I can't do it like this person. We trying to keep up, So these are different avenues of why we don't trust ourselves. And I want to challenge you to bring that back to you. And if, like I said, the first thing is by journaling. And then the second thing is by acknowledging the common fears that keep people from trusting themselves. The number one is family and friends and what they think. You know, will they support me on my journey? You know, not trusting yourself enough because you wonder if they're going to support you. But the question you need to be asking yourself is, are you going to support yourself? Okay.
All right.
And we can, oh, go ahead, Miss Quinn. I see you pop off. You shine. Do we
Definitely
have,
just thinking about some of the things that you have shared and curious about what the community is thinking about too. So, one of the things that I say a lot, and I say it, but I don't always honor it, is compete, compare, and then despair. Like when I am in a space of competing with whatever the times are saying that I should be doing, or paying attention to what other people are doing and comparing myself, what I am doing and what I'm not doing as it relates to how they're moving in the world, or comparing myself to other women or younger women since I'm 56. It can definitely create a space of paralysis. Um, and so it's like, why bother energy? It doesn't happen to me often because I'm an action oriented person. But I'm very conscious of some of the things that I want to do, especially what I see for the next few years, and just telling myself that some things are too late, too much. Um, yeah, so that TOO, this is, or having too little. So scarcity thinking, like just thinking about what can stop and block flow. So just grateful to you for creating the space about trust, because I can make up that it's these external factors when it's really what's happening internally with me. So thank you.
oh, you're welcome. Thank you for that share and that powerful message, you know, because it's definitely an internal thing and it's a consistency thing. I want y'all to understand this stuff don't happen overnight. You will be constantly working to trust yourself, right? To believe in yourself. Why? Because you should be constantly growing. You should be constantly learning. So you're going to encounter fears throughout your life. You're going to encounter certain things, and that's life. But in order for you to know how to remain and continue to trust yourself. Yes, Miss Teresa, I see your hand up. Do you want to share?
A saying that came to me just now is that I don't trust myself that I'm a dope ass woman and that excels in every area of my life based on what's for me, not for what's for nobody else. Because sometimes I do compare myself a lot. So don't trust it. That I'm dope. I'm dope like that, and been dope. But just having an issue with trusting myself because I've compared to how other people do it, but not how spirit has me to do it. And so that's a big difference for me than saying, you know, I'm dope based on what this is what I see, but dope as what spirit has me to show up as. And so that hit me really good right now.
Thank
Thank you for this because I'm writing down a lot of stuff, a lot of fears, a lot of different things. So it takes the edge off because it's not in my head, like you said, it's on a piece of paper so I can just scratch it off and
you.
change the opposite of what it's saying, really.
I
Yeah.
love.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you welcome. Thank you for that. You know, like you said, get it out your head, write it down. Because when you cross it out, you'd be surprised. It really does cross out in your head. I never thought that would be true, but it really does work, guys. So please try that out. You know, and one of the main things I want to tell y'all about is fear. You know, a lot of times, or we think that people are looking at us, they're watching our every move. And I just want to leave y'all before we, 'cause I know it's 7:28, but I want to use this analogy that say you're riding down the street in a car. Let's say you're walking, right? Let's use walking. Because when people walking, they feel like all eyes are on them more than driving. So when you're walking down the street and you say, I got my headphones on and I'm jamming, you know, I got my reggae going or Tupac or whatever it is. And I'm thinking every car that goes past me is watching me. So I'm not jamming too much. I won't move too much. And I'm like, they're going to be thinking I'm out here being silly. Now, flip side, let's say I'm in the car going past the person who's got the headphones on and who's jamming, right? How many times when you go home, you think about how many people you've seen on the side of the street? I can guarantee you, matter of fact, drop it in the chat. When you was driving just yesterday, if you took a drive yesterday, drop it in the chat how many people you remembered that was walking down the street. Just drop it. I bet you, and I can tell you, I was just driving down the street yesterday. I can't remember none of the people that was walking down the street. I don't remember them. I don't care if they was jogging. I have no recollection of them. And I use that to say we always seem to think that all eyes are on us, but how many eyes are you looking at when you driving? You ain't paying people attention like that when you're driving. And I would say that to say nobody is paying you that much attention. So start trusting yourself. Stop worried about everybody else looking at you because in reality, nobody really cares. But don't tell them Queen A said that. Nobody really cares but you. Okay? So I want y'all to think about that when it comes to trusting yourself. We worried about most of the time we don't trust ourselves. We're worried about perception when in reality, nobody really cares. And Chrissy, Miss Chrissy, I see your hand up, love. Like to share?
Yes, yes, thank you. Thank you. It takes me a minute. I'm also still driving, but I wanted to add a few things. I feel like what you were saying, trust is levels to it. I find myself saying I trust myself, but I think it's because, and I want to put this in the space for everyone, that I understand that I am a miracle and that every moment, every breath I take, I get to choose and decide what I do with it. And even if those thoughts of fear or lack or scarcity come about, um, it's a quick conversation and then I'll push myself to do it. So I have a lot of those growth moments. Um, but I wanted to say that. And then I also wanted to say, I do I do think that this process of dumping everything out into a journal, I call it brain dumping. I do something similar, but I don't do it in a journal. I do it on a piece of paper. And I teach my clients to do it too. I call it brain dumping. But I like the idea of crossing things out. So is there stuff actually still on this list when you're done with it?
So
Because I
yes.
burned mine. Okay.
So yes, there should be. Because the reason why there should be is because you need to know where you need to put your focus at, right? And it's not every thought that's in your head. So you're getting them thoughts out onto a journal or a paper or cardboard, wherever, just so you can narrow down what doors should I focus on, right? I have 36 open. Maybe you narrowed it down to 5. Okay. And now these 5, what can I prioritize? Now you start prioritizing things. Okay. Well, I got 5 things on here of why I don't trust myself. Okay. How can I work on these 5? And out of these 5 that I narrowed it down to, what's more important for me to work on? So let's say if, my health and I have health on there and I have my job and I have my youth. Well, for me, my health is going to come first because if my health is not in order, say that's on a list, and that's part of the one of the reasons why I don't trust myself, or I don't trust myself to be more healthier. Well, I'm gonna go with health first because I know if I focus on my health, I can help my youth. You know what I mean? And if I focus on my health, then I can be more successful. But I can't focus on my youth and focus on success while my health is declining. Because yeah, I might end up being more successful, but in the end, am I truly going to deserve it? You know what I mean? And not just deserve it, enjoy it. That's what I meant to say. Am I truly going to enjoy it? Because you don't want to build success for somebody else to enjoy it while you're sitting in a hospital bed. That's just for me. So yes, Queen, at the end of the day, just to answer your question, you should still have things on your list.
All right. Go ahead, Chrissy.
Oh, I was just gonna say I was complete. That was it.
Oh, thank you for that, Queen. Thank you. I appreciate that. And one of the things I love how you said is one of the things most entrepreneurs fear is fear of success, which is what that sounded like Chrissy was kind of explaining there. We have a fear of us being successful, right? Because most of us has never experienced success. I used to have a fear. I think I talked to this with Shawnee one time, the thing. I think I even told her this one time, right? And I'm so glad I'm getting over that. But I had a fear of being successful because guess what? I didn't see too many black successful women in my family. And then not only that, I didn't even see too many black successful women. I didn't grow up with that. I grew up in the hood, right? So I feared being success. I feared everybody being like, oh my God, she just thinks she better than everybody, right? Because that's what most people, now she different. Or what everybody online was going to think about me. But once I stepped out of that, guess what happened? They loved me because I was being myself. Like, right? And then I start creating more, generating more because the universe was bringing me more because I trusted myself enough to believe that I deserved more. Because I want you to understand, trust is what you believe you deserve. Trust is what you believe, you deserve. Not what you believe your daughter deserves, it's what you believe you deserve. Okay?
All right.
So,
Let
and
me
with
some stuff in the chat. And also inviting Trinice, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, to share about this piece about fear of making mistakes. I think that was a powerful one and one that a lot of folks can relate to. So, Coach Cheryl gave you an affirming yes for what you just shared a minute ago about trusting yourself and honoring what's for you, like all those pieces that you were sharing. Sis Val said negative energy can throw me into a head spin of imposter syndrome. And Chrissy said writing down equals awareness. Thank you, Chrissy. So Trinice, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Are you willing to share more about the fear piece?
I love that.
Give thanks. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much for calling me into the space. I really appreciate it. To speak more on the fear of trusting myself because of the fear of making a mistake. It just kind of, I don't know. It's been kind of like a thing that I've been battling for a while, and I've finally been in a space of addressing it. So it's so divine how this is being presented today, and I've been in a space of addressing this fear because I don't know, it just kind of comes from a place of being afraid of making a mistake. Like I said, like, being afraid of making the wrong move and then being like, oops, I should have did this, those shouldas and those couldas. I've been realizing through my own journaling that like it kind of stems from the past, you know, thinking that the past is going to repeat itself and just honestly just needing to step out more on faith and trusting that things are going to be different, and really just having more grace with myself in those moments if it is a quote unquote mistake. So I've been working really hard on just being more graceful with myself. So if anybody has any advice on that part, I would so appreciate it, especially you, Queen A, because you spot on with everything that you're talking about. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, love. And yes, I actually do want to touch on that. So that sounds like one of the things I teach is we fear of failure, that's what it is. And I want to stress to everybody in here, we've been failing since we've been born, right? We've been making mistakes since we've been born. And I teach failures as life lessons. So I don't like to call them failures. I like to call them life lessons, mistakes, things that we do, that teach us what don't work so we can focus on what can. And I would give you this analogy, Queen, to focus on. When you first came out your mama's womb, right? First, you couldn't even hold your head up. You was bobbling that little head back. Mama was like, girl, let me hold it up, right? They like, you better hold that baby head up. Then next you start trying to crawl. And what happened? You couldn't just crawl. You got up, you start falling, but you kept trying. And then it went to walking and so forth, right? And riding a bike and driving a car. So I want y'all to understand that I believe we was born to fail into success. So one of the things I teach, I tell people to fail into success. If you listen to anybody's success story, I don't care who it is, you can pick a person, pick your best person, who you love. They have a story. That's what makes us all so unique. They have a success story. And it's like a butterfly. Do you know if you can't open the cocoon for a butterfly, it's the struggle that makes it successful. There's the struggle that makes it beautiful. It's the struggle that helps it fly. Even with a plant, when you first plant the seed, I want you to think about it as dark. You know what it takes for the roots to struggle in that soil? You know, and they have to probably keep feeling like like, oh my gosh, am I gonna get through this soil? Oh my God, am I gonna hurt her over it? But once they get over that, them humps, what happens? They pop through the soil. And once you pop through and you get through the struggle, or the failures or life lessons, what happened? You start to blossom just like a flower and you start to grow. So, Queen, I hope you can use that analogy for yourself and realize that you've never been perfect. Nobody on here is born perfect. You've been failing your whole life. Every day you've done something, like, oh my God, I didn't make this coffee right today. Right? Been making coffee for 30 years, but maybe you ain't make it right today. Right? Or tea, because I'm a tea queen. So I would stress using the analogy and just remember back to when you was born. So that's what keeps me going every time I feel like, oh my gosh, I ain't do this right or I made a mistake. Well, I've been making mistakes my whole life. I made a mistake when I was doing my hair. I think I had to take one of these down and redo it. So that's I hope you got something from that. And did that answer your question, Queen? Did I give you a little clarity in that area?
Absolutely, yes. That was so heartwarming. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Queen.
Oh,
And Miss Teresa, I see you have your hand up.
And what I wanted to say, what came to me too, is that so what if we fail? There's a saying that says, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And it's like that was something that you heard people saying the younger, but it's like we got this thing about if we fail, we got so much stuff about all this failure. But so what if you fail? You just keep on doing it. So that's what I'm saying to myself. So what, Teresa, if you fail, keep on going. Do not stop. That's hit me in my spirit. So what? If you fail, keep on trying. Don't stop. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up.
And you wouldn't be walking if you gave up. I want y'all to understand this. You wouldn't be walking. You wouldn't be holding your head up if you gave up. You wouldn't be sitting up straight if you gave up. So I want y'all to start focusing on, I like to focus on the micro things, the little things. Because once we focus on that, because we like to focus on the big things, which make us like, oh, but if I focus on little things like that, about, oh, but you've been feeling since you were born. You know how many people snap out of it like, you know what, you're right. I have been feeling since I was born, or so forth. But look at it in the micro aspect. Don't take the big part of it. I felt this test. We'll go back to, okay, well, you know what? I felt the test once, but I probably felt crawling, before I actually succeeded in it about 100 times, you know? So look at it in that aspect. But I know it's 7:41, so I don't want to go over. So the last thing I just want to ask you all, or is a question I just want to ask. Drop it in the chat. You can drop it in the chat, or you can feel free to come off mute. What are you going to do to trust yourself today? And if anybody like to come off mute or chat, just name a micro step. And I want y'all to understand, just a micro step, or, what are you going to do to trust yourself? Or maybe let me say this, rephrase it, because I believe I gave them this question. How do you feel about trusting yourself today? Drop it in the chat. How do you feel about trusting yourself now? Now that you know that, guess what? If you ain't trusting yourself because you feel like you're going to be a failure, well, guess what? You've been failing your whole life and you're still here, right? Maybe you paid for a bill, tried to pay for it, your credit card didn't work. You didn't put the information in right. That's considered a failure. If you look up the definitions, right? But you kept trying and then you put the credit card number in and you succeeded, whatever the case may be. So I just want you to understand, though, that is how you get to trusting yourself. Close them doors in your head, get it on paper, analyze them, digest them, cross out the things that sound silly, say it out loud, look at it, and then you narrow the doors down and understand that you have been failing since you was born. And with that, I am complete.
awesome.
Yeah.
Let me
Tony?
read some of the things that are here. Zakia says that she calls these life lessons and failures blessings. Be not blessings, but blessings. Blessing lessons. I have to keep reminding myself that my growth comes from learning from my failures. I shared that what I'm going to do today to trust myself, and also how I feel about it. I said, tap into someone at least one someone that I can trust with supporting me, with trusting myself. So I trust them to help me trust me. Because community is key for me. And that support helps me to move forward. And also said, I feel confident and capable to move forward with the trust and the actions that I will take inside of it. Trinice said, I feel like being more graceful with myself, giving myself more credit, even for the little things. And Coach Cheryl dropped both the questions in so y'all can check them out so you can answer even beyond this session. Teresa said, feel stronger. I believe I can fly. Cynthia said, I'm feeling free. Chrissy said, you can learn to walk without failure. And Cynthia said, blessings, just repeated it and what Z put out there. So thank you, family. Oh gosh, we got 3 people in the waiting room. They still coming and we almost done. That is funny. But we could say at least good morning to them. Because sometimes they get the days mixed up and they think it's a 90-minute session when it's really 30 minutes. All right. So, family, we're about to close out. Thank you, beloved Queen A, for all that you have shared in this space. Feeling very inspired by your energy and your light and your lessons and blessings, as Z said. So, we're going to close out with our closing slides. And if you just landed in the space, please watch the playback so that you can get the gems that Queen A dropped into the space for us to let marinate, and so that we can digest and apply. So, special offer, Queen A, what you got for us?
So what I have, y'all ready to say? I know I have a free webinar called Clarity Over Chaos, where every second Sunday we go over different principles that help you build your confidence and stay aligned with clarity. And it's from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So feel free to register for that, loves. I'm looking forward to seeing you there.
All right. And Coach Cheryl will drop in the links that you can register. Like, I love that you're offering this complimentary session, and that it will consistently be offered on the Sundays every other month, so that this clarity or chaos conversation can be unpacked with community. So y'all jump on in there. I love that we have all of this access to free offerings. So nothing stops us from tapping in to what is being provided. So being in touch with you, can you speak a little bit about that, Queen?
Yeah, so my phone information right here is 614-233-1727. Feel free to text me. I'm very good with getting back within 24 hours. My Facebook is Queen A, your clarity coach. Please go ahead and follow that. I do all my main teachers from Facebook. Instagram, I'm at Queen A Speaks. I'm not really on Instagram, so if you leave me a message on Instagram, you might want to go to Facebook, my phone, or email me at queenaspeaks@gmail.com, or you can check out my website, www.queenaspeaks.info, for anything that I have going on or any products or services that you may need.
Ashe, y'all check it out. Coach Cheryl is dropping the contact information into the Zoom thread as well as Facebook, so y'all have access to our beloved Queen A. And love offerings and donations. I say it all the time when I lead in this space, whether it's facilitating or adminning, or, if I can chime in when I'm witnessing and holding space as a community member, that this space is a blessing, and that the request from the community is to give to this space that has been a blessing for 5+ years to community. There are folks who have transformed whole family situations, ways of thinking. They've started businesses. They've transformed how they relate to themselves. Their esteem has been lifted. They've released a toxic relationship. They've worked on their health and well-being. They've transformed how they view the world. So much, so vast, so comprehensive, the offerings in this space, and always encouraging the community to give back to the Wake Up Everybody virtual community that has given so generously to you. So if you are able to set up a monthly payment, which many people have in this space, to support the infrastructure and to be contribution, please do that. It's a blessing. When you give, it opens up a gateway for receiving. And when you give with love and not resentment, or feeling like you must, like you've been cajoled or manipulated into giving, when you are open to the free flow of giving, you are blessed, because you receive back on many levels. So let's set that up. And if you want a different number for the monthly giving, other than the ones offered, you can reach out via email or text to set that up. And tomorrow we have a session with Marilyn DJ. The topic has not been declared, but we'll get that out ASAP on our Facebook pages, so that you can know what's coming next. And Marilyn always teaches powerfully. She's a historian and a guide, and she's a professor by trade and by calling. So join us tomorrow at 7 a.m. and it's a 90-minute session. The Woo Nation welcomes all new members. I saw some new names in the space, so thank you for being here. Our community is committed to learning, elevating, and ascending, and we want to do that in partnership with you. Just like Queen A was talking about, when we are able to trust ourselves, we're able to contribute more. So as each of us are trusting inside of this community, then we'll all amplify this energy and frequency of trust, and we'll all transform together. So please keep coming back. You don't have to do anything to be a member of Wake Up. You just have to show up, and we are grateful. Our schedule for showing up is Sunday through Thursday. We work in the space from 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes it's a 30-minute session, and that happens on Monday and Wednesday. Like today. Today is Wednesday. We went a little longer, but we have that prerogative because this is our sacred space that we co-create. And then other days we're here for 90 minutes, and that's Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So tomorrow is a 90-minute session. So be prepared for 90 minutes of awesomeness with Marilyn DJ. If you want to be reminded to come into the space, we have automated texting, so you can get an alert automatically if you sign up for it. So you can use this number at the bottom of the screen, 74121, just like you use a 7-digit number, and type in Woo Nation in all caps, send it off in your text app, and then it will add you to the automated texting option for the morning times, 5 days a week. And if you want to stop it, type in that same number on that same thread, stop, the word stop, and it will stop the texting. It's just that simple. And we want to thank you for being here and invite you to stay in touch. Here are all of the ways that you can stay in touch with us. We have our e-blast that we send out. If you register through bit.ly wake up /wake up movement, you will get an e-blast with all of the happenings for the week and any additional announcements. You can follow us and friend us on our private Facebook page or our public one, or be on both, and you get announcements about what's happening and the videos of the facilitators and all that good stuff. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on YouTube. And on YouTube, we have all of these recordings. We've had 1,400 as of today. It'll be 49 recordings. And you can access these recordings and go back and go over the material that has been shared over the 5 years. And if you want to give us testimony, suggestions, if you want to recommend a facilitator, if you want to volunteer as an admin, reach out via email at info.wakeupseries@gmail.com, and we'll explore that with you. So thank y'all for sticking around, because one of the things we absolutely want to do is celebrate Queen A. So let me take this down so that we can see everybody in the chat. We do something called a love shower. It's part of the Wake Up Everybody culture, where you hear all the voices overlapping and loving on you as a facilitator. So let's do that for our beloved sister. So unmute and let the love pour, everyone.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will watch
Thank
the
you.
replay.
Thank you.
Queen, thank you, thank you,
Some
thank you.
blessings to you.
Love you.
Come on in,
Woo
love you.
family.
Love y'all, love y'all, love all of y'all. Mwah. Looking forward to hanging out with y'all soon in the streets. Love y'all.
Good.
Have a great day, family. Peace and blessing. Mwah. Love y'all.
Have a great
Love ya.